1932, the banking collapse had reached rural Ohio. Farms faced mass foreclosure, and thousands of families packed whatever they could carry and fled to the cities, looking for breadlines. While her neighbors lost everything, Martha Henderson stayed put. She fed her 4 children and 3 neighboring families, drawing on agricultural methods her grandmother had used for generations. Today, we rely on a global logistics network to deliver nearly every calorie we eat. This just-in-time model is efficient, but it is also fragile, designed to run on a supply chain that can empty supermarket shelves in less than 72 hours during the crisis. Martha Henderson didn't just plant a garden. She treated her backyard like the individual nodes of a machine, an interconnected, zero-electricity system designed for total self-sufficiency. Her success was the result of 20 specific traditional features that allowed a single backyard to produce hundreds of tons of food annually with no outside inputs. The first module of this system tackles the immediate threat of lethal winter weather. The solution relies on engineering specific microclimates, small pockets of controlled weather, to bypass the freezing temperatures entirely. By building simple wooden boxes and topping them with recycled glass windows, Martha created unpowered solar traps, known as cold frames. These captured sunlight to thaw the soil, allowing her to harvest fresh spinach and winter lettuce, even when snow covered the ground. For crops needing more protection, she used a sunken garden. This schematic demonstrates how excavating a trench below ground level forces harsh, drying winds to pass harmlessly overhead, while the surrounding earth acts as a thermal mass, releasing heat at night. When you place a small glass dome or cloche over an individual plant inside that trench, you magnify the effect. The temperature immediately surrounding the plant can increase by 10 to 15 degrees. Managing these microclimates effectively extends the growing season by months, regardless of the regional weather. The second module handles labor and hydration. In a survival situation, human energy is precious, so the system is designed to automate food output and water delivery. Annual crops require plowing, planting, and constant tending every single year. A perennial strategy uses crops like asparagus, rhubarb, and expanding strawberries. Once established, these varieties yield decades of food with almost zero ongoing labor. For irrigation, Martha relied on an ancient, unglazed clay pot known as an olla. This serves as a fail-safe during severe drought, operating entirely on capillary action to release moisture slowly. Because these pots deliver moisture directly to the roots rather than evaporating on the surface, this method consumes 70% less water than surface irrigation. Treating water delivery and planting as long-term automated investments provides a consistent food supply with minimal daily effort. The third module operates as a closed-loop nutrient reactor. It fuels the entire system without the need for commercial fertilizers. It starts with the hugelkultur bed. By burying large, rotting rods underneath the topsoil, you create a self-watering, nutrient-rich soil sponge. As the wood slowly decomposes over several years, it feeds beneficial soil organisms and provides a steady supply of nutrients. Above ground, garden weeds like dandelion and nettle are repurposed in a stink bucket. When fermented in water for several weeks, these plants create a concentrated liquid nitrogen fertilizer for heavy feeders like tomatoes and corn. The living engine of the compost cycle is a backyard chicken flock. As they consume kitchen waste and weeds, they aggressively convert organic matter into rich manure. Even the layout of the garden contributes. A bean teepee allows climbing beans to produce protein-rich food in a small vertical space, while their roots fix nitrogen in the soil for the next season's crop. By utilizing the byproduct of one subsystem to fuel the next, the garden becomes a self-sustaining cycle. The final module secures the harvest. Preservation technologies are required to keep these calories viable through the winter months without modern refrigeration. A root cellar leverages the Earth's natural insulation to maintain a stable temperature just above freezing, effectively acting as an underground vault for fresh produce. Different crops require specific environmental physics to survive. This schematic shows how potatoes are kept in high humidity zones in complete darkness, while onions require dry, ventilated air currents to prevent rot. Organizing crops by their specific atmospheric needs allows this underground space to keep vegetables fresh and nutrient-dense for up to 6 months. For supplemental storage, Martha utilized simple methods like braiding onion tops to hang from rafters or using clothespin hangers to dry herbs in the attic, maximizing every square foot of vertical space. These unpowered preservation methods are the essential bridge that transforms a short seasonal harvest into absolute year-round survival. Martha Henderson's final tool was her community connection. When her garden produced more than she could use, she shared the surplus with her neighbors in what her children called the tomato parade. This practice built a network of mutual support. Those who received her garden surplus would often reciprocate with their own help or garden yields, ensuring the entire neighborhood stayed fed and connected. These ancestral tools remain accessible today. Modern urban dwellers adapt these methods by utilizing portable cold frames and intensive container gardening on apartment balconies. While modern society relies heavily on the grocery store, the blueprint for individual resilience is still completely intact. True security is engineered directly into the soil by following the same principles of self-sufficiency that sustained families through the hardest years of the last century.